Good evening. Good evening, friends. So I started this the other day and I thought I'll go back on and do a bit more. I haven't been on here on an evening for a while to do a bit of live, to do a bit of chit chat. So I thought I had a little bit of spare time. So I thought I'd pop on, come and say hello, see who's about, do a bit of painting, we'll do a bit of chit chat, talk a bit about whatever. The usual stuff that we do on a live on here. We just chat, chew the cud, see what comes up, see who's about, see if any of the regular viewers are about and want to join in, see if any of my moderators are about to join in, keep control of the masses. So I'm painting a rose again. I'm painting this flower again. I've done it in a couple of different colours for a couple of different people over the different versions of it I've done. I did like a pinky coloured one for the original one, and then I did a gold one for a golden wedding anniversary, which was for a friend of my mother's, my parents. And this one, I'm doing a red one. I thought I'll do a nice red rose because it's the classic, isn't it? It's a classic rose, the red rose. Everyone loves a rose. I think everyone loves a rose anyway. I need. Have I got any? That's the question. Have I got any? I need some kitchen roll. So bear with me. Hello. Sorry, I had to dash there. I had to go and get something for my paintbrush. Go and get something to dab it on in case it gets too wet. Hello. Red VR, yo. Donna Chamberlain, hello. Welcome. Yeah, so I'm just, as I was saying before, I'm just on doing a bit of painting. Back to doing painting a nice red rose, a nice flower. So how's everybody this evening? How's everybody wherever you may be in the world? It's very cold here at the minute in England. Very cold. Where's everybody from? Where's people from? Lemons. The outer universe. Oh. How's the weather out there? Be a bit turbulent, is it? It'd be cold. Be colder than what it is here. Do 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 do. Bum 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 bum. You get used to it. That's good. That's good. Get your thermals on. Get your long johns on. Just grin and bear it, eh? So where's folk from? Where are you all from? Let me know. Let me know whereabouts. Apart from the Egoptimist, who's in the outer universe. Where's everybody from? Do let me know. Put it in the chat box. Let me know how your day's been, how your day is going, what you're up to. Let me know how the weather is where you are, because it's changing a lot around here. Everything is in balance. That's good. That's good to hear. Everything is aligned. You're in the Soviet Union. How did you get there so fast? Have you got a spacecraft traveling at the speed of light? Oh, you're born in the Soviet Union, but now you're in the outer universe. Right, I'm with you. I'm having to keep up with the conversation here. Especially when I'm trying to sort of like paint a straight line as well as chat and discuss whatever people are chatting about and putting in the chat box. So if it's your first time here, please do subscribe and check out some more of my lives in the future, or check out some of the past ones that I've done as well. And check out all my various playlists across the board covering many different subjects. Now Germany, where the winter starts, if you're interested. So what took you there? Harry, I don't know what that is. Is that a parcel? Anand Kumar, hello sir, how are you and where are you from? Hello to you too. I'm very well, thank you. And I'm in England in the UK. Where are you? Yajit Aras Korlu. Is it Korlu? Hi, I'm new for what is this channel? So this is the Reiki Journey YouTube channel. And currently I'm on a live doing some painting. However, I do talk about various subjects on the channel, from Reiki to hypnotherapy and mental health and anxiety and EFT and all the different things that I use in my practice. But currently I'm painting because it's another part of my practice, using art to create a calm mind, basically. Anand Kumar is from Pakistan, so welcome from Pakistan. You speak German? Very little. Beautiful channel, chat, thank you. Can you show progress of your painting? Not anymore. I could. If you watch my last live where I started the painting, then you can see how it got to this stage. But it's a black canvas. It's a ready primed black canvas. I started by sketching a rose out and just putting some shapes in of where I want to work, just to give me an idea of what I'm doing and where I'm going with it. Then once I did that, I started laying down some colour for the rose, and now I'm just putting a bit of the background in, and that's it. That's where we're at. That's what we're on with. Good luck, brother. Thank you very much. And I did a video today with a lovely friend of mine who I've got to know over the last couple of years, really, I suppose, who had some distant treatments from me and some hypnotherapy and what have you. And anyway, we started doing a few chats and podcasts together. So we were doing that this morning, and it was the video that we did this morning. It was meant to be a follow-on from our last podcast, which was about spiritual awakening and midlife crisis. But I always just press record when we go onto Zoom and just see where we go with the conversation, and just see what happens with it, really, and just see where it goes. And yeah, it was a really good chat. It was a really good conversation, and it was pretty deep, pretty in depth, and that is now scheduled for Saturday. So yeah, so that's Saturday at 8 p.m. UK time. But yeah, I'm not going to tell you what it was about. I won't spoil the excitement. If you decide to subscribe and check it out, then it will be out then. And the channel members, obviously, they always get to see the content first, and they get the sneak peeks and previews and things. So yeah. Egoptimus, I gotta be honest, you have good intentions, but your channel's boring. Well, that's fine. No problem. If it's not for you, it's not for you. I'm not here to be exciting, I'm here to be authentic. There's enough madness in the world without adding to it. Alti Mars. I have chronic dread in my chest that I cannot ease. It has been there ever since 2017. I'm wondering if you could speak to it. Well, I could speak to it, but the best person to speak to it is you. You're the best person to speak to it. But you need to do a little bit of work on yourself, calm your mind, calm your emotions, calm the ego, and speak to it and address it and find out what it's doing there. I do a lot of that sort of stuff with people in hypnotherapy. When I put them into a hypnotic state, then they can access the subconscious and speak to the nervous system themselves and find out what that thing is that's there, that's kind of like lingering and loitering. Because we all have stuff that's kind of like there, lingering and loitering. And just last year, I think it was last year, maybe the year before, I had a few issues with my stomach and I didn't really know what it was, so I just sat with it and meditated on it and spoke to it and spoke to my body and asked what it was and why it was there. and my body spoke to me. So it's best for you to sit with it and try and work out what it is, and just find some stillness, find some quiet time to just sit, meditate, quiet the mind, follow your breathing, and then connect to your body, talk to your body, and listen to what your body has to say back to you. Your body is the greatest teacher. It'll give you the best messages. It really will. We are extremely powerful, energetic beings. So once we start connecting to our own energy, we become more aware of it. Oh, amen. Dimetrix George. I'm new here. Is this a safe space to open up about spiritual growth? Absolutely. This is the perfect place because we're all growing and building and learning together spiritually. So yeah, absolutely. Just pop something in the chat box and we'll see what goes and where. But yeah, subscribe to the channel. I've got loads of stuff on here. If you check out my playlists, I've got videos about spiritual growth, spiritual techniques, spiritual awakenings, meditations to work on your vibration, mental health. I've got all sorts on this channel. I've been on a self-healing journey and a spiritual awakening. Yep, amen, brother. There's many of us that have. There's more and more people that are doing it now. There's many more people that are waking up and getting to this realization of who we truly are. So yeah, you're definitely in the right place. And I do talk about that quite a lot on the lives as well. Sometimes it'll come into discussion where we will discuss things like that, of that sort of nature. Not all the time, because not everybody wants to hear it, but there is a lot of times that it tends to come up in conversation because of just the general vibe of the channel, really. I've been having issues with addiction and it's getting better, but I always seem to have one foot still in my old life and it's hard to fully step into my purpose. Yeah, that's kind of like part of your healing, really. Part of your healing journey is trying to find out why you keep getting pulled back. There's probably a level of comfort in that as well. There's probably a level of comfort in something like that because you feel it's your safety mechanism. It's that safe space you can go to, but internally you already know that it's no good for you, and that's why you're on this journey. But there is an aspect within you subconsciously that'll be kind of like, not subconsciously, but it's kind of like a bit of pre-programming, and you just need to unprogram that, really. Rewire your thinking a little bit, which it takes time. It takes a lot of work. It's a process. It really is. But the fact that you're on this journey and you're aware of it is a big aspect. It's a big step of that already. So you're already into that knowing, and eventually you will transition beyond that, because you know it's not serving your highest purpose. If you check out one of my there's a couple of meditations on my meditation playlist which will be very helpful for you, actually, and they are to help you connect to your higher self, and there might be some answers there for you if you go and just talk to your higher self, and there might be some answers there for you to just find out why. What is it? Why do you keep getting pulled back? And the higher self will only give you the truth if you truly connect to it, without ego, without attachment. If you truly connect to your higher self, it will give you the information that you need, that you're looking for. You might have already connected to your higher self. I don't know. Do let me know. But yeah, I mean, I started my healing journey back in crikey, maybe 2012-ish. That's when it really started ramping up. I was already doing some meditation and stuff before that, just to get clarity of mind and try and understand my path and what was happening and what was going on. But until then, till about 2010, 2012, there was a lot of stuff started sort of kind of like redirecting me and re-guiding me. And then got to 2019, and that's when I learned Reiki. And then I became a Reiki teacher in 2022, and then done other things in between as well. So obviously learned hypnotherapy and all that sort of stuff. Ozak Raven, hey there, those who are joining us today. There are over 2.7 billion YouTube channels, and you came across us. Hope you would consider being here more often for awesome vibes and so much more. Thank you very much. I'm glad you're enjoying the live and the content and the videos. Thank you for being here and sharing that as well. That's really lovely. Thank you. Yes, I'm aware, but I can't seem to get out of my old life. I say to myself all the time, why am I always taking steps back? But I don't know what it is. There'll be an element of fear there, definitely. That's kind of like pulling you back a little bit. And there's something that obviously there's something there that will need some element of awareness, of light shining on it, a little bit of growth. I used to get pulled back into. I think it's a part of the testing, really. I think that's what it is, because I often got pulled back into situations and mindsets, and just couldn't seem to. I always had difficulty getting past it, and a lot of it was self-belief and self-worth, and thinking I needed like external validation, and that comes from an element of fear. So I did. It was like, for me, there was alcohol and smoking. Really, they were the big ones for me. To be honest with you, I didn't really enjoy any of it. I didn't enjoy any of it. I was just following a crowd. I was just following people. And again, that comes down to this fear within me that wasn't accepting of myself, and I didn't feel confident enough in myself. And that's why I had felt the need to follow. But then through the inner work and the journeys and the meditations and the self-healing and just talking to myself more positively and trying to get myself into a more positive mindset and getting on the right trajectory I needed to be on. And sometimes I found as well that I was on two different pathways, like two parallels, a little bit like yourself, what you're saying, where I would be in, one foot would be in like the old life and I'd be living part of that alongside this new life. And I kept dipping into the old life again because for me, it was because of the fear of what people might think. So I kept having to dip back into that normality. And again, that level of people, what people might think, again, comes from an element of fear and of worry of what people might like take from that. So yeah, it's just about trying to find your authentic self and being more at peace with that, being more at peace with your authentic self. Altimaz, thank you. Your words resonate with me. I have world from my center lately. I call back my higher self. Yeah. There's a lot of that. I was just doing that video, like I mentioned earlier, that's going out on Saturday. And we were talking about authenticity in the video quite a lot. We talk about like kind of like life and spiritual life and all the stuff that we're kind of shedding and letting go of, and the fluff that comes up, and self-realization, and all the different layers that we go on about. And we were talking about that there. And where was I going with that? I was trying to make a point. I read something there. Yeah, about coming back to your center. And that's kind of like what we're talking about in that. It was about like coming back to your center, coming back to your centralization, that place of stillness and comfort internally that is kind of like, it's always there, but the only time we lose it is when we get lost in the mind. And that's the key. It's learning about the separation and which is which. It's quite easy to be lost in all that. It really is. Yusuf, what's that poster behind you? That is a tapestry on the door of the Om, the third eye chakra symbol from the Hindu belief philosophies. Like one of my most recent videos as well that I did was actually, it was about the higher self, and it was about going, like trying to give a broken down, sort of easy to understand explanation of what the higher self is. Because for a lot of people it sounds kind of like, it sounds a bit mystical and weird. And you know, some people might call it like a higher power or a higher calling, or a spirit guide or anything like that. But it's your higher self is it's basically the highest aspect of you that only wants the best for you. But yeah, go and check that video out. It's quite a recent one that I did, and it's just trying to explain like what the higher self is, and also giving you ideas of how you can actually listen to it without the chatter of the craziness of the mind. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so did you have days when that little voice in your head says, take a drink, it's all right, have a smoke, it won't affect your journey, smoke weed, it's okay because I do, and always lead me back to old habits? Yeah, absolutely. And that's just kind of like breaking that mindset. It's like that loop you get stuck in That's part of the habitual state. The addiction is just that loop that you do get stuck in, and once you're in it, it's very, very hard to come out of it. And it's all about building the awareness. Once you have more awareness, then you can kind of like work with it better and understand it better and understand yourself better, and you're kind of in more control of it rather than it controlling you. And then eventually it becomes tame. It's because that's just the ego. That's the ego that's talking all the time. That's the ego that's them. That little voice is the ego that's there because it doesn't want you to. It's always fear based, so it doesn't want you to find that little bit of truth, that little bit of light within the self. It doesn't want you to find that. You know, and that for me is something that's been coming up recently with different things that have been going on. And now I just talk to it and I just tell it to shut up or F off because it just causes distraction and disruption to my true way of being. But yeah, it's always there, always there. It's just part of harmonizing it and understanding it and getting to know it. And the more you know it, the more you know yourself. The more you know yourself, the more you can work with it on a better level, more of an even keel, and you have a clearer understanding of what it is, and you learn about the two. You learn about the two ways of how the ego and your higher self or your soul communicate as well, because the higher self will always give you an instant response, which will be of a growth or positive response. The ego will always come in like afterwards and doubt that. It'll put doubt over that first response, and that's what the ego is that comes in after that. But yeah, check that video out. Yeah, definitely, and check out some of my meditations as well. You might actually benefit. There's another video on my channel which was it's had like over 3,000 views, I think it's had. But it was a raise your vibration meditation, and that might be really good for just sort of like pushing you past a point, and using it quite a few times, listen to it quite a few times, and it might just get you past that point where you become more empowered internally in your own light. Yeah, but check that one out. Like I say, it's had quite a few views, maybe 3,500, 4,000 views. It did really well, that video, so I was pretty chuffed with that one. Oh, hello, Daniel. Say hello to Daniel, everybody. That's my other half in the room. Demetrix, are you painting? I am. I'm just on doing this. A red rose. A beautiful red rose. Yeah, Dan's not very well at the minute. He's full of flu or something, bless him. So send him some positive vibes. There's quite a lot going about at the minute. I don't know, how's everybody been feeling? Kind of, how has everybody been feeling in themselves? Because there seems to be a lot going about, and a lot of people are picking things up quite quick. Demetrix, is painting a way you've found to keep the mind occupied? Painting is something that I've always enjoyed painting. I've always really enjoyed it, but it's a really great mindful activity, and it takes your awareness away from like this and puts it into that. So it kind of like takes you away. It's not like, it's not a distraction as such, although it does help to distract, but it just creates a more, for me, it just creates a more harmonious way of kind of like being, of just being in the process of just like painting and creating and bringing something into life. And I mean, it doesn't have to be, when we're painting, you know, it doesn't have to be a masterpiece. It doesn't have to be good. It's just the fact that you're doing something to take your mind away from wherever it might be. And that's why I often talk to, when I mention it to a lot of my clients that I work with, I often say about journaling and using like a journal and writing things down that come up in the head, because there's a lot of neuroscience that backs this up, that when you have a lot of stuff going on in the head, when you write it out and you just write down what you're feeling, what you're going through, you express it truly from yourself, and you write it down, and something really kind of like quite profound and bizarre happens in that connection within the head, and it kind of like empties the head, and a lot of the stuff that's in there comes out because you've written it onto a paper. You've brought it into the physical. What you can then do after that is you can either burn it, you can have like a fire ceremony, you can burn it, or you can keep it. But I would tend to say, like, if it's like a lot of negative stuff, you can keep the book for the length of the book, fill the book up with all that stuff, but then eventually just burn it and have like a little bit of a ceremony or a ritual where when you do get rid of it, that's intention. The intention behind it is that's you letting go of that. So yeah. I think I might need to find something I enjoy that will help me take my mind off my addiction. Yeah. Daniel, I saw some of your previous messages about addiction. I too have started my journey of recovery. Daniel, that's awesome. I'm glad we're all on this journey. Allside Roofing, what's up? Welcome. Yeah. What I found, because another part of my addiction was food as well. Whenever it still happens now and again, but now I'm kind of like aware of it. But for me, I eat when I'm stressed, so I have to be quite careful with food. So that's another aspect of addiction. So addiction comes in all sorts of shapes and sizes, and again, when you overeat, that's not good for your health either. But what I found to be extremely beneficial was just kind of knowing when it comes up and sort of understanding why it comes up. And the more you kind of find out and know and understand why, that then shines an element of awareness on it. And again, the healing process is always about the awareness. Once you have the awareness and you have the whys and the wheres and whats, and you have all the questions answered, it sort of helps to dissipate that layer of it, and dissolves it slightly. And it's a little bit like when you're speaking to the ego. If you start speaking to the ego and you actually talk to the ego and something's coming up and you know it's the ego, just say to it, just tell it to shut up, just because you're calling it out. You're saying, I know it's my ego. I know it's my ego saying this. It's all ego or whatever. And then you actually feel like a level of surrender and peace comes over because you've just spoke to it and you've let it go. As soon as you sort of like see it for what it is, it dissipates. And that's the power that we have within that. Outside roof, how was your day? My day's been all right, to be fair. It's been fairly decent. I've been looking after my partner who's not very well. He's full of flu and got sent home from work today, so I've been doing a bit of that. And had a client earlier on, so I had a Reiki client, and then I had an online chat with a client, and yeah, it's been all right, really. What about you? How's your day been? How's the roofing business? I can imagine this time of year you'll be quite busy with slates and things coming off. Been smoking weed for a very long time, since I was at the age of 11. Wow. When I was just a kid. I'm 28 now, and so it's hard to get clean after so many years of this drug. I've had a couple of clients actually that have wanted to stop smoking, and they've had a hypnotherapy session with me and they've stopped straight away, just like that. And at the end of the day, again, it's all about your intention. And something I say to my clients that I work with a lot is, it's not magic. I can't perform magic. I can't make you do anything in hypnotherapy. It's not forcing you to do anything in hypnotherapy. All it's about is it's your intention, and it's the power of suggestion through to the subconscious mind. Them two put together, that's where it all happens. That's where the magic happens. I say magic, that's where it all takes place. But yeah, it's extremely powerful. It's extremely effective. I'm definitely getting better cutting back a lot, but every now and again, I always seem to go back and smoke. Yeah. But I mean, if you've cut back like on a lot of other stuff as well, and you've cut back on that, you can like do it gradually. You can't do it all in one go, because it's a bit too much really for you to kind of like deal with, especially when you're going through a spiritual awakening as well, because that's tough. It's tough stuff to deal with. Because most awakenings are not very pleasant, and you learn about yourself on a much deeper level. But it's all good at the end of the day. It's all powerful and positive, and it's happening for the right reasons. Yeah, Daniel, you've had a a really good kind of like message, really, haven't you, to yourself? I'm really, really, really proud of how far you've come with it and how well you've done with it. Like I say, for me, in my 20s, that was the thing for me. It was the drink. It was the alcohol. It was horrendous, and sometimes I would find myself waking up on a street in the middle of nowhere. You're like, how the hell did I get here? But yeah, that was then. But it just got to a point where I was just like, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not going to live just for the sort of entertainment for other people or whatever. I'm going to live my life for me. Because there's only one person really that's important, and that's you. And you've got to take your own life with both hands, because you only get the one that you're consciously aware of now. So make the most of it. I hear you, it's hard. I'm always disappointed in myself whenever I do turn back to old habits, but I'm glad for the talk. I just want to talk with others that are on the same journey. Yeah, well, you're in a really good space. You really are. There's never any sort of ridicule, and if there is, from people on here, I just kick them out, or my moderators will. So I don't take any shit with people. This is for me, this, like, the YouTube lives are quite a sacred space for a lot of people, and especially this channel. This channel as well. It's become quite a powerful community for a lot of people. Whether it's mental health, or whether it's addiction, or something of a spiritual nature, or all of that as well. All of the different things that we face. It's become a bit of a nice positive place for people. But you're always going to get people that come in their lives that just that want to cause drama or whatever. But that's part of life, and that's the demons coming out. That's the little tricksters in the energy and in people. Because as soon as you start bringing some light out into the world to help and support people, that's when the little tricksters come out and try and create a little bit of friction, let's just say. But you can't have light without shadow, and you can't have shadow without light. So they both have to coexist, and you just kind of have to let them be, and when they're in a live or whatever, just kick them out, because it's all about being respectful. DE, look after your temple. Absolutely. Appreciate it for everyone listening. Thanks, Daniel, for sharing as well. I had a slip at the weekend, but I took accountability of that. I was honest. Absolutely. Benayak, hey. Welcome. But yeah, so I mean, if it's your first time coming here, please do, so, like I say, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, give me a like, and like I say, go and check out my playlists, check out my other lives, because there's all sorts. When I go on a live, there's all sorts of people that I speak to that pop on, and there's lots of different conversations that we have. Sometimes we just have a laugh. Sometimes it gets quite deep and meaningful. Other times people just want to know about God and does he exist, you know. So yeah, I am painting. Yeah, I'm just on painting a rose. That's what I'm on with currently, and just chatting away. Yeah, I don't open up about my journey I'm on because people seem to laugh or just say things that are rude and put me down, especially family. But yeah, appreciate your time. Yeah, not a problem. Not a problem. And yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome on a live anytime, you know. So please do pop by again, and you know, if you need to share or talk, feel free. And I also actually on the website I do offer a free 30-minute consultation. So if you wanted to just talk about something on that one-to-one, that's also something you can do. You're really good at painting, by the way. Thank you very much. Do you pray to whom or just the universe? I suppose you could call it. You could say I pray. I tend to more sit in meditation rather than actively pray, or I'll put my thoughts out there to God or to the universe, whatever you want to call that energy. And then, you know, I do believe that there is some higher power because I've experienced so much over the years that I can't deny it. So, you know, and now I just, when I go around, I just see, you see life in everything, really. You see a bit of God in everything. You see consciousness in everything. And that's why I don't really want to hurt anything, or, you know, it's kind of like part of a Buddhist thing as well, is not causing harm. But that spans across many religions as well, is just being compassionate and sharing peace and love to your brothers and sisters. I talk to my guardians because they talk to me. Good. Yeah, we all have an energy form we can speak to if we need guidance, if we need support, whether you want to call it your guardian angel, whether you want to call it your spirit guide, whether you want to call it your higher self, whether you want to call it God or Jesus or Buddha or whatever name you want to give it, whether it's the universe or spirit, your ancestors, your spirit family, your angels. There is a power that is there to support and to help, and it will help if you ask for it. It will help. It will support and guide. It won't intervene because it's your life at the end of the day, but it will be there to support and to help you and guide you and give you the little spiritual nudges that you might need every now and again. But I mean, now after all these years of doing this kind of work, to me, it's they're all part of the same, really, because we are all part of the same. We're all part of that flow, that universal life force, spirit, because we are spirit in form. So there's no separation. And it kind of like, that can sound a little bit esoteric to a lot of people, you know, and maybe they don't always take that, and that's fine. But that's just my current belief, you know. It might change over the next year or two, but mind, body, spirit, absolutely. It's all one, it's all connected. It's like the laws of manifestation, you know, and the laws of attraction. You want to bring something, you know, when you want to bring something into your life and you want to manifest it, it comes from you. The only time things get in the way is when the ego gets in the way and you think you should receive it in a certain way. But who knows? Who knows how God or the universe or the divine works? No one can interpret or understand it. And that's like science. You know, nobody understands science. Science is constantly unfolding and discovering it all the time. And it's the same with spirituality. It's the same with the spiritual realm. We're constantly understanding and learning new things and crossing boundaries within ourselves. Daniel, this is a safe space. If you just need to vent or chat, I jump on from time to time. Thank you, man. I'll definitely make sure to keep this in mind. The space feels welcoming, so thanks, everybody. You're welcome. You're absolutely welcome. Yeah, you get to meet all sorts of people on here, and sometimes people pop on and they don't really kind of like get it, or they don't understand it, but by the end of a live they start to sort of like question life and they start like looking at things in a slightly different way, you know, and if that sort of plants a little nugget or a little seed, and that sort of makes them think alternatively or holistically or in a different way, then that's all good. But it's not down to me to tell anybody about how something should be. It's down for the individual to experience it themselves and find their own connection to God or the universe, whatever you want to call it. The mind clears as we expose our fears. Yeah, absolutely. Stepping into fear. That's a big part of the growth that we go through, isn't it? Stepping into the fear, stepping into the unknown. And then when you do step into the fear and the unknown, you actually realize that, oh, actually, it's not that bad after all. I can do that, or I can achieve that. Yeah, sometimes things can be uncomfortable. It's never going to be plain sailing. It's never going to be an easy ride a lot of the time. So, but again, it's good to be slightly uncomfortable because it makes you feel that level of fear as well. It's sort of like the polar opposite of it is excitement. So there's that element of fear, but there's like but what if? You know, there's that little bit of excitement that comes along with it as well. And that's what happens when we're wanting to transform and change our lives, is that fear of stepping away from the old and the things that we might have to let go of. But there's also the excitement of, but this is what I could have, you know, this is what I could bring in, this is who I could be, this could be whatever. So yeah, there's always that little bit of fear, but there's also excitement, and that's kind of like the two dualities of that emotion. So how are we on? 5 to 9. I'll finish this petal, and then well, I'll use this bit of paint up. I don't want to waste any paint because I waste too much paint. Oh, I've gone on a different petal. There we go. I always end up like, I'll start something and then I don't use all the paint up, and it just goes rock hard, and it gets wasted, and it's a shame because and you can't really reuse it once it's dried up. You could add like loads of water to it, but it's then too watery. It doesn't have the vibrancy and the consistency that I like to work with. So I'm just putting a bit of the bright red on the petals just to bring that outside colour out a little bit, just to brighten it up and create a bit of shadow. So you can probably see there on these petals here where I'm just putting a bit of brightness on. It will dry off and it will sort of soak in a little bit, so it won't be as bright when it dries, but it's just to create a little bit of vibrancy on the outside of the petals, because that's where the light kind of like shines through. Yeah. All gone quiet now. All gone quiet. Right, there we go. That's my last little bit of paint used up. So I'm going to head off. So thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me and subscribing and watching and sharing this safe space with me and other people who are on the same journey of discovery and healing and spirituality and all sorts of different things. So thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing your journeys. And we'll see you in another video very soon. And do take care. Much love. Toodaloo for now. Bye bye.